This is 7th grade part 2 on 9.2 area of circles. I'm going to do a few problems here from the guided practice. The ones we're going to be doing are circled here in green. If you follow me going through 1 and 2, you'll be able to answer 3, 4, 5, and 6. And for 7, 8 and 10 are exactly like number 7. And number 9 is a little more different and a little more difficult, so I want to work that one out with you. So to start off, we know that the area formula is A equals pi r squared. The directions say find the area of each circle, round to the nearest tenth if necessary, and we're going to use 3.14 for pi. In number 1, we are given 14 meters, which is the diameter, not the radius, but we need the radius for our formula. So we know that the radius is half of the diameter, so we're going to divide 14 by 2, which is 7. So r equals 7. So now that we have 7, we can plug that back into our formula. So A equals pi r squared. Pi equals 3.14 times 7 squared. 7 squared is 7 times 7, which is 49. And when I multiply those together, 3.14 times 49, I get 153.86. Now we have to round to the 10th place. So the 6 is going to make that 8 become a 9. Now we always have to write our answer with the measurement given. So when we did the radius squared, that means we squared the meters as well, or multiplied the meters together as well to make it m squared. So my final answer is 153.9 meters squared. Number 2, we are given the radius of 12 millimeters. So this one, all we have to do is plug in our 12. So A equals pi r squared. Pi is 3.14. Our radius is 12 squared. 3.14, 12 squared is 144. 3.14 times 144 is 452.16. Again, we're going to round to the 10th place. So that 6 makes the 1 become a 2. Again, we have to multiply our measurements together as well. So we have millimeters squared. So like I said, if you follow 1 and 2, you should be able to follow and do 3, 4, 5, and 6 by looking at those examples. All right, moving on to number 7. We have to think about our formulas again. We know that area equals pi r squared. So in order for us to write our formula, we have to look at what we're given. So this is written as C equals pi times the diameter. And we know that the radius is half of the diameter. So for order us to write this as the radius, we have to divide the 4 by 2. So 4 divided by 2 equals 2. So now we can fill that back into our formula. So equals pi times 2 squared. Now if we look back up here in the directions, it says give your answer in terms of pi. So we're actually not going to finish out the problem. We're just going to square our radius and write it with pi. So in this case, 2 times 2 is 4. And we left with that pi as well because we have not finished the entire problem completely. So in this question, my answer is A equals 4 pi. Coincidentally, it's the same thing as the original problem, but it's not always going to be that way. All right, moving on to number 9. I'm going to move this over here. We have to think about the formulas that were given for circumference. So we know that circumference equals pi times diameter or 2 pi r. In this case, we're going to rewrite the circumference with this formula. So we have 2 pi r equals pi over 2. Now, in order for us to write this back into the a equals pi r squared formula, we have to isolate r. So therefore, I'm going to start with the right-hand side, and I'm going to get rid of the denominator. So it's being divided, so to undo that, I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Pi r equals pi. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by pi. And I'm left with 4r. And pi divided by pi, that's the same number. So any number divided by itself is 1. And now the last step is I'm going to divide both sides by 4. These cross out because 4 divided by 4 is 1. So r equals 1/4. So now I'm going to plug that back into my area formula. So a equals pi r squared. So I have pi times 1/4 squared. 1/4 times 1/4. We multiply the numerators, which is 1. Multiply the denominators, which is 16. So now I want to write it as area equals pi r squared. So I'm going to multiply pi as a fraction. That should be a 1 there. I'm sorry, it's cutting off at the bottom. So pi times 1 is pi. 1 times 16 is 16. So therefore my answer for number 9 is pi over 16. I hope this helped. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I am available most of the time, so I hope to hear from you.